everyone, welcome to Jolly Molly TV. Today we're going to do another fun block in Kimberbell's A Quilty Little Christmas wall hanging project. And in today's video we're going to work on the letter block right here. This is going to be cute. So go ahead and grab your plastic pouch system that you have labeled letter, and let's head over to the embroidery machine and let's get started stitching. Okay, we're at the machine. I have a bobbin with white thread down below. I have white thread in the top of my machine, and I have my 5x7 hoop loaded with a piece of the poly no-show mesh stabilizer. I need you to pull your plastic pouch system that is labeled letter, and I need you to pull all of that fabric out. Okay, these first two are applique pieces that we'll be using here in a minute, so I'm going to put those off to one side. This is my background. So with this background, I'm going to put white thread up on top because I'm going to do all the steps up until and probably even including the quilting in that white thread. So whatever color fabric you have as your background, put a thread up above that you want to do the first several steps in, even including your quilting, and load that thread on the top of your machine. Okay, now I also need you to pull a piece of your pre-cut batting that measures 5x7 inches and put that off to one side. Okay, so we have all of our supplies for that. So now let's go to the screen cam and load the design. All right, I'm going to go to my embroidery module, and I'm going to go to my flash drive and go to my Quilty Little Christmas subfolder. Also, if you have a Baby Lock Destiny or Brother Dream machine, these steps will be identical for you to follow along with. All right. So the first thing I want to do is load the quilting design, because we put the quilting design first and the main embroidery design on top of that. I'm looking for Christmas 16, and I'm looking for my favorite, which is this gingerbread house and gingerbread men. And I need the vertical design, which is this one right here. That's a 4x6 inch. And we want it this way because the embroidery design is going to stitch the letter address with the top of it being here and the bottom here. So we want this vertical design. All right, click set. Don't have to do anything to it. I'm going to add the embroidery design on top. Okay, now I'm going to go back to Quilty Little Christmas and the main quilt. And I'm going to go to the second folder, Sending Holiday Wishes. And this is the one I'm looking for right here, which is the 5x7 letter. Isn't that cute? All right, and we're going to click set. It's going to bring it in right on top, totally centered where it needs to be. All we need to do is click embroidery. All right, we're ready to start stitching. Let's go back to the hoop cam. We've got our white thread up on top. So let's go ahead and put the foot down and stitch out the placement line for the batting. Okay, so now we're going to lay our batting down, making sure that you cover that placement line on all sides. Put the foot down and let's tack down the batting. Okay, so now I want you to take the hoop off the machine, go over to the table, and I want you to trim away all of the excess batting from around all four sides of that stitch line, and I'll meet you right back here. Okay, now that we have that trimmed up, let's put the foot down and leave white thread still on the top of your machine. Let's stitch out the placement line for the fabric. Okay, now I'm going to lay my fabric down, covering all of that placement line. Now, if you have directional fabric that you're using from your own stash, make sure that the top of the fabric is here and the bottom of the fabric is here, because that's how it's going to stitch out, top to bottom. All right. I've laid mine down. Now I'm just going to feel for the edge of the batting just to make sure I have a good centered fabric. All of this fabric around the edges is going to get trimmed off. I just want to center it as close as I can so I have oodles of wiggle room on all four sides. All right. So with white thread still on top, I'm going to tack down this fabric. That's nice. And I like the way the white thread looks on the fabric, so I'm going to do my quilting in that color as well. Choose the color thread that you'd like to do your quilting in and put that up in the top of your machine. And let's stitch this out. This is a 3-minute in real life stitch out. Enjoy. I love this quilting design. This is my favorite so far in the bundle. Can you see that? Look at that. You've got the houses, and then you've got the gingerbread men. And you know, I'm still undecided on this project whether I'm going to do it as a mini quilt collection of the 4 wall hangings or I'm going to convert it into a ladder quilt. This design really wants me to do those borders, and I know borders are a lot of work. But this is basically the design on one of the borders with the gingerbread men and the houses. I'm going to have to think about that. I might decide to go that route just so I can do these borders. They're so cool. But I got plenty of time to think about that. Yes, we do. Okay, so now the next thing I want to do is switch out my thread because I want to put a thread that's going to match the pink or coordinate with the pink fabric that we're going to be laying down next. All right, this is the base of the letter that we're going to do. So I'm putting my pink thread up on top. You put the color thread you need to put in up on top. If you're using the kit, you want to go with the pink to match the pink fabric in the kit. We loaded the thread. Let's put the foot down and let's stitch out the placement line for this fabric. Okay, so now I'm going to lay the pink fabric down and make sure I cover all of that placement line. And when I do, I'm going to put the foot down and tack it down. You got this. Okay, so now I want you to take the hoop off the machine and I want you to go to a table and I want you to trim away the excess of this pink fabric only. Don't touch the base fabric. Just trim the excess of this pink fabric away from that stitch line. And I'll meet you right back here. All right, now that I've got that pink fabric trimmed up, I'm leaving pink thread in the top of my machine. And we're going to stitch out the satin stitches that go around this edge. This is a 7-minute in real life stitch out, so enjoy. I love a good satin stitch, don't you? Yes. Okay, so now we're going to switch our threads out and take the pink out, and then we're going to put in a green. And according to Kimberbell, it's like an olivine green. So in my quilt, I'm using a little bit brighter of an olivine green. I think that'll look very pretty for the address. So pick the color green you would like, or if you want to change colors and do something else, you can. Put that thread in the top of your machine, and we're going to stitch this out. This is a 6-minute in real life stitch out. Make sure we don't have any loops. Okay, we're ready to go. You ready? Enjoy. Okay, that came out really, really pretty. I like that. Okay, now the next few steps are optional. If you want to use the stamp button that's included in the embellishment kit, then you are done stitching out this block. If you're not going to use the stamp button, we are now going to embroider this stamp on here. I actually like the embroidered stamp, and I have plans for the buttons. I'm thinking about adding them somewhere else in the quilt, like on a filler block or something. So I'm going to go ahead and finish stitching out this block by stitching out the embroidered stamp. All right, that's going to involve the little piece of applique that you cut out from the kit fabric. This is a small amount of white fabric that we're going to do for the stamp. So I want to put white thread in the top of my machine in order to secure that fabric. Okay, again, this is optional. If you want to use the button, then you don't have to do this part. But if you want to put the button somewhere else on the quilt, then we can stitch the embroidered stamp out at this point. Okay, so in order to do that, I'm going to load white thread in the top of my machine and stitch out the placement line for this white fabric. Here we go. Okay, so now I'm just going to put that white fabric down. Make sure I've got it covered on all sides of that placement line. And use my stylus to hold it in place so my fingers don't get smushed. And let's tack down this fabric. Okay, so the next thing I want you to do is take the hoop off the machine, take it to a table, and I want you to trim away the excess of this white fabric from all four sides of that stitch line, and I'll meet you right back here. All right, so we've got that trimmed up. I'm now going to switch my thread out, and I'm going to put my light pink thread in here because it wants to stitch the trunk fill. So let's do that with the light pink like suggested by Kimberbell. I like that. Put that thread on the top of your machine. And this is a really quick stitch out. All right, so let's put our foot down and stitch out the trunk. That was it. And now I want to put in the green that I want the tree. I think that'd be really pretty. Kimberbell calls it a sage green. All right. Mine's a little bit brighter. That's okay. Pick the color green of your choice for the tree. And let's stitch this tree. It's a 1-minute stitch out. You ready? Load your thread. And here we go. Foot down. Let's do it. Okay, so now we're going to do the top of the star. This is where you pull your yellow gold thread that you have. And I'm going to do mine in a little bit more of a gold. It's not really yellow, it's more of a gold. Yeah, because you want a gold star at the top of the tree. All right, this is again a very quick stitch out. It says 1 minute, but I don't even think it's going to be that. Ready? Let's put the foot down and stitch out the star. Yep, that was very quick. All right, so let's take the gold thread out. And now Kimberbell does a green on the outline of this, a dark green. I was thinking about changing it up and making it red because we already got a lot of green in the text and the green in the tree. This green would look cool, but I think the red would really offset it a little bit better because we have enough green, I think, in the block. You get to choose what color thread you want your satin outline to be. And then put that color thread in the top of your machine. All right. Yeah, I think I like the red. So pick your thread color of choice, load your machine, and then we're going to stitch this out. This is a 4-minute stitch out, and it's going to do that pretty satin scallop stamp looking border around that stamp. All right. So let's load the needle. Are you ready? Oops. No, we're not. We have a loop. Get that loop out. Don't ever let a loop stay there when you start your machine. It'll wrap around, break a needle, and could damage your foot and or your machine. All right. We don't want that. So now it's safe to put the foot down and stitch this out. Here we go. Isn't that cool? I love the choice of the red thread. Got a couple little straggler threads here. Going to deal with one on the star. And I think that's good. Isn't that cool? One more. There we go. I love that red stamp. Love it. All right. Good job. Are you happy with your block? I hope so. This is cute. All right, so let's take the hoop off the machine. Let's go over to the table, and I'll show you how to finish up this block. All right, we're at the table. This is an adorable block. I actually love that stamp that we did, so I will probably use the button someplace else in the quilt because that is a really cute stamp. It has my favorite border on it. Love it. So the last thing we have to do is square this block up to 6.5 by 4.5 inches. And we're going to use this outer stitch line to do that. Okay. That was the tack down line that we used to tack down the fabric. So I'm going to measure from one side to another, and that measures 6.5 inches, and then go from the top to the bottom, and it's just shy of 4.5. So that's what we're going to use to square this block up. So I'm going to go to that outside stitch line. That is not 100% straight. So let's go to this side and see if this one is straight. This one's straight. Okay. So now I'm going to go ahead and put my ruler on that stitch line and move it just a hair past. Okay. Can I see that stitch line? Yes, I can. I can make my first cut. Now with this side straight, I can come back and tackle this side. I'm going to line this side up with my mat. 2, 4, 6.5. I can now make sure it's lined up on this side. I can line up my ruler with my mat. And then, can I see the stitch line? I can see part of it here and the other is under the ruler. So now I can make my cut. All right, 2 down, 2 to go. So let's do this side. And that looks straight. So I can put my ruler right on it and go just a hair past it. And if you want to be super sure, You can also use this line at the bottom of the block to line the block up. And then I can say, do I see that stitch line? Yes, I do. Make that cut. Okay, you got one cut left to do. You can do this. So I'm going to line the block up. 2, 4.5. Because I want it to be 4.5 inches this direction. I can line the ruler up with the bottom of the block. Line the ruler up a little bit more this way with the mat. Can I see that stitch line? Yes, I can. Make the cut. Okay. Oh, and now you have an adorable letter block. I love this one. This one, I have to say, so far is one of my favorites, even though I love all of them. That is super cute. All right, you did it. Congratulations. So I hope you had as much fun today making this block as I have. And I hope you stay tuned here on Jolly Molly TV for more fun and more precious blocks in Kimberbell's A Quilty Little Christmas wall hanging project. And until I see you next time, take care and happy stitching. Bye-bye.